Is this thing on? I don't know. If you are there, hey guys, I'm not sure that is the case. Yeah, I can see the live now sign is on. Let me just check if the technical gear is up and running. Is it? Does it seem like it? What is happening? What is happening? No, nothing. Hello? Seem to be working on my phone. I can't get any picture on the screen. If there's anyone out there, right. Is this working? I don't know. I don't know. It says live. I can see a still image, but I don't get any picture. What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? Okay. YouTube. Waiting for. It's not working. What's going on here? Okay, I'm gonna restart this. See if that solves the Okay, let's try again. Live now. Yay! I can see myself, I can hear myself. Boom! We are on. Okay. I'm gonna mute myself and I'm just gonna get the cup of tea. We can't do the live evaluation without the tea. This is tea time with Alex. Sorry, I'm gonna keep you on hold for 2 minutes. Even less. Teacup. Okay. I think that means we are ready for this. We are so ready for this. Or am I? I have no idea actually. This is one of those deals where it just might go down the drain. Okay, let's start this thing off. It's Friday. It's time for the live weekly evaluation. And that means evaluating the theme of the week, the challenge of the week, which has been loneliness. What is it? Can we get a greater understanding of it in order to cope with it better, to have a better relationship with it? Because that has been my problem. I at times feel alone, like if sitting at home, maybe a bit too much, especially since I started to call myself an introvert, started to embrace that feature of mine, like I need my alone time. That's when I'm most productive. That's when the real magic happens. I don't have to be in a social situation all the time, because I know that just drains me of energy. But claiming that title has also resulted in me using that as an excuse sometimes to not put myself in those situations. It has made me isolate myself to a greater extent. But still, it has felt like a bit like coming home, because it's kind of an identity. I know who I am in that sense, and it's a a hard relationship. That's why I want to understand loneliness better in order to know how I should act in the right way. Because when I make like life dictating decisions, how I want to live my life, I want to ground it in both scientific like reports and evidence, but also my own relationship to it, creating my own image. I'm just not just gonna buy into what everybody else is saying. I have to make my own opinion, and that can only be based on me going out there and trying different things. That's how I approach everything in life, like different diets. I've tried them all because I want to find something that is suitable for me. But so loneliness was the deal, and I set out to read this book by Brené Brown. It's called Braving the Wilderness: The Quest for True Belonging and the Courage to Stand Alone. And this is a shame researcher, I've been following her for a lot of years now, and she's all into how we have a good relationship to shame, how we show up and dare to be vulnerable, and that is a theme that is coming back. That is central in this feeling alone as well. So I started to read this book this week, and this is how this video will look like. I'm gonna address some of the main points from the book that I took by heart, and I'm gonna put it in my context with my stories. And I frankly don't know if this is gonna be a mess or if it's gonna be an amazing video, because it's been such an insightful week. It's like boom, 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 all over the place. Different things I want to extract from the book. Like, oh man, this is so great content, but I can't hit them all. And I'm, to be frank, not that structured right now. It's an emotional bubble exploding within right now, because it's so much that has happened this week, in contrast of looking at things in a new perspective after reading the book. And it's just a great book. And before getting into the details of it, I really recommend you to read it. It's just one of those books that will change your perspective on life. But so, just to briefly address some of the questions that I put up in the beginning of this week. I wanted to understand loneliness better. I wanted to know what it was, if it was something that is only driven, the drive within to connect with people, if that's just created by the social norm that we are living in. Like, we have to meet friends every Saturday. That's just the way it is. Otherwise, you're just weird and odd and you're wrong. That was one thing I wanted to get an answer to, and also how I can deal with it better, how I can cope with it, how I can more easily connect with people and remove that sense of loneliness. Like, that was like the two questions. Do I really need it? Sorry. Do I really need it? And how can I get a better relationship to it? How can I actually connect better with persons? And that is quite big topics. But so the first thing that this book made it clear to me was that it's not a thing made up of social norms, depending on how you see it, but it truly is a real thing that we really need. When we feel alone, it literally kills us. You could actually smoke a pack of cigarettes each day, and that will still be equal to or better than being alone. At least when you feel alone. Not maybe physical alone, but feeling that you are not connected, that you are alone. That can actually kill you off with a chance of 45%, a 45% higher likelihood of dying earlier because you feel alone. And that's even higher than smoking a pack of cigarettes each day. At least that's the the research that they presented in the book. So don't take my word for it, take their word for it. But for me, it's just boom, it's out there. And those kind of things really, really motivates me even more to understand how I can handle this better, because I mean, I have a serious goal of becoming 120 years at least old, or actually I raised it to 130, and that is something I take deeply seriously. I truly within believe that that's part of why I eat healthy, live healthy, and do everything in my path that can bring me towards. I'm increasing the likelihood for me to go to that distance. And when I hear that loneliness can make me die super much more early, then that is a serious issue. Like everything else I'm doing, the food, the training, the health, that is nothing compared to what I've stumbled upon here. And that is one of my biggest things. So I really need to take this seriously. How do I stop feeling alone? Because that is something that is happening. So when Brené has actually established that yeah, you really need to look seriously into this can kill you, she goes on to talk about a lot of different things and how we feel distant from ourselves. And I'm actually gonna look at some quotes here that she is pulling out from the book. Actually, the quote that is kind of basing the whole book. It's another author that Brené Brown really looked up to, and it was a quote from her that she really never understood. She loved all her other works, but this quote is like, man, she's off on this one. And it kind of is the basis throughout the whole book that she keeps coming back to, because she wants to understand that. And I really didn't understand it when she said it the first time, but now after going through the book, I deeply understand it. That also means you will probably not get it right now. Okay, so the quote goes, I'm just gonna find it. God damn. What happened to my OneNote? The quote goes, "You are only free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place, no place at all. The price is high, the reward is great." And that's like saying we don't have to belong anywhere, because when we reach that state, that's when we really belong. And that's like super weird. Does that mean that we don't need external connection, that we can just feel belonging to ourselves? Is that enough, or what does it really mean? So that is kind of the basis of the book that she comes back to. And without digging too much to that right now, I realized, or in the book, I think she kind of presents that it's not really about loneliness, it's about belonging. It's about feeling a belonging to yourself. Because when we feel lonely, we feel disconnected. We feel like isolation from ourselves, but also from other people. And this is one of the main things I'm going to come to right now, because I don't want to go too lengthy on this. We can't stop feeling alone until we stop feeling distant from ourselves. This is where it all begins. We need to show up as our true selves. We need to be who we really are in order to stop being alone. And to put this in a story related to myself right now, is that this whole YouTube thing has made me connect with myself on a deep level. It has made me realize who I am, or who I really want to be, living how I can express my values and beliefs, and what I really want to do in a genuine manner. It's like it all becomes reality when I do my YouTube thing. It's like, whoa, this is what I want to do. But at the same time, I'm not totally proud of it. I'm a bit ashamed, and ashamed is a very, very triggered word that Brené also talks a whole lot about. That's the whole basis of what she's doing. She's a shame researcher. But I feel ashamed, and this is buried deep within. It has taken me time to realize this. But since it is like everything I do in my life right now, has been so for the last 1.5 years, it's like it's an expression of who I really am. My YouTube channel, that's me. But since I feel this loaded feelings within, this shame feeling for talking about it with my friends, with my people I meet, it's such a twisted thing. It like deteriorates me, because on the other hand, this is who I really am, and then and that goes on in my internal world. When I come home, when I sit at home in this place, I'm just being me, and I never feel alone when I'm in that place, because I'm doing what I really love. It's like, yeah, I'm connected to myself. I'm not feeling isolated in those moments of just awesomeness when I'm creating and doing stuff like that. I'm just so deeply connected with myself, and it's amazing. But then we have this external world where when I'm really living and being out there in some sense, and then I put up this facade, I put on these shades. I'm not really exposing who I really am. I'm distancing myself from myself. I'm not putting my true self out there. And that is, I think, one of the reasons I've started to feel more and more alone since I started this YouTube channel. And this is like, a realization I did today when I saw this from the perspective of this book. It actually makes me reluctant to go out and meet people on a subconscious level. This is not something I have expressed out loud to myself. I don't want to meet people because that puts me in a situation where I should talk about what I'm doing, because that's me. If I'm interacting with people, I need to show up as my true self. I need to talk about what I'm doing, my biggest thing in life. But since I'm ashamed about doing that, you see the twisted relationship here? I'm not doing that. So that has made me distance myself from going out there meeting people, because I'm afraid of showing who I really am, and putting that out there. In my work, I'm not talking about this. When I'm with my old friends, I'm not talking that much about this. I'm talking about this with one of my greatest friends. Is like the I don't know what I would do without that guy, but that's the person I go to and reflect those things. But in my other social context, I just ignore it. Like I'm not even thinking about that I should talk about it, or I'm doing that on a subconscious level, but it's just shame feelings. So I want to avoid those things. But it's just so obvious to me that those things are driving me to push myself away from all those interactions, because it's shame driven. I don't want to feel shame. I want to protect myself from being shamed. And this is so heavy. And I want you to see this from your own perspective. This is not a unique thing. This is what the whole book is all about. That you can't truly stop feeling alone until you start becoming your true self, until you start showing up as your true self. Because this is so heavy. This is why when I do my facing fear challenges, when I go out there, as I did this week, I wanted to talk with people about loneliness. So I wanted to interview people. I wanted to face my fears and approach random people and ask them what loneliness was to them. When I do these fear challenges, I go out there as my real authentic self. I presented myself as, I have a YouTube channel. I want to know what people think about loneliness. Then the game is already set. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I'm all out there from start, so I'm not feeling anything drawing me back, because I'm really just all out there at once. It's not like when I'm with my friends and I'm covering it all up like makeup, just putting out a version of me that I'm really not, or just showing to not show who I really am. But when I'm out there talking to people at the streets, I have nothing to fear, because I'm not invested in them in that sense. I don't really care what they think about me, because I'm just interested in the connection and the result. So I spit it all out at once, and that thing, unfiltered me being there, makes me connect with these persons on such a deep level, and that is when those magical moments are created. That's why I feel so freaking great after doing these things, talking to people, random people, the humans of Stockholm. When I do that, those moments may only last for 2, 3, even 30 seconds. They are like unproportional more valuable in the currency of connection, in compared to like a party where I don't really want to be, because it's a place where I don't dare to show up as my true self, and it's just a plague. It's nothing happening there for me that I'm enjoying. That is only due to my own input into that situation. But looking in history, when that has been the case, which is often the case, and that is why I don't put myself in those situations, because I don't dare to put myself real self out there. Those things, those social events lasting for hours, they give me nothing. They only depletes me of an energy of life, and like never want to do it again, because it sucks, because I'm not there for real. It's ironic that you can feel the most alone when you are with so many other people, because you are missing that sense of belonging. And that is so powerful, and that is the whole core of this book. It really is. And it's heavy, and it's so goddamn insightful. I mean, this week what I've realized is it has no price. It really has no price. But the inside is only one thing. Then you have to find a way for how to change this behavior. You have to find a way to address it and learn how to live with it. I mean, showing up as your true self, it is freaking scary. It takes courage. But courage equals vulnerability. We have to learn how to be vulnerable, And that is not as easy as it's, or I don't know, it may not even seem easy or sound easy. It takes some good tools, actually, and that is what Brené is presenting in the book. She's presenting like frameworks for how you can go about this, how you can think. She presents a model for how to have self-trust, because she says that if you're not trusting yourself, you're not going to have the courage to be vulnerable, because you need to have a system in place to trust yourself that you're gonna do the right things that supports you in this scary place, the wilderness, as she says, because it is a freaking wilderness. But if you have this system in place, if you do these things, if you trust yourself, then you dare to go there over and over again. You realize that, yeah, I have this concept, I have this framework that works for me, that keeps me afloat. I've implemented it enough times, but it will hurt. It will cost you. And to go back to the quote she's starting off the book with and also closing it down with, you are only free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place, no place at all. The price is high, but the reward is great. And the reward is truly great, because I've been practicing this week. It's so freaking scary to, at my workplace, show up as my true self. I've had a note, I've been writing down every day, be vulnerable, you have nothing to lose. You have no life if you don't do this. This is living. I've reminded myself I've been doing that this week, and I've had an awesome week, but it's freaking scary. And since this book has so much value, I want to, I don't know, either I'm just putting a link down there to some other person that has summed this up in a good way, which I don't think has happened yet, because it's really good. Really good, because it's really new. It only came out a month ago, so I don't know, maybe I'm gonna put together something that presents this in a good way. But again, I think you need to read the book to fully grasp the gist of it. It is through stories that we have these emotional reactions, and when we have emotional reactions, we get things on a deeper level. A quote doesn't work long term. It may inspire you for 10 seconds, but you don't really get the meaning of the quote. A summary is still not all there yet. It may be an ignition for you to make some change, but you still not have that emotional connection to what you have read. And that's why books are so good. And when I say books, if you don't have time to sit down and read, you can always do an audiobook. I've been listening to this audiobook 2 times this week because I have spent 8 hours on my bike commuting to work. 8 hours, it's a 4-hour book. I've had time to listen to this book twice, and it's been so. Just to conclude, loneliness equals belonging or not belonging, and you can't start belong to other people until you start belong to yourself, showing up as your true self, being vulnerable, and vulnerable equals courage. And that is when we are truly alive. We can't have this armor, because then we have chosen to close down all the good things in life, joy, emotions, getting connected with people. We can't have them both. Either we choose to be vulnerable or we shut it all down. That's all the options you've got. So those words are gonna close this video down. It's been an emotional journey this week. It's been so insightful, and I urge you to read the book. I truly do. My name is Alexander Nilsson, and I thank you so much for watching. I will be posting a new video on Sunday where I will be putting up the next week's challenge. I have not made up my mind what that topic will address, but I'm kind of leaning to it being in this realm, since I'm so dig into this right now. We'll see. Some facing fear challenges will be posted. I can tell you that. Have a lovely weekend, guys. See you in the next video. Bye. I can't say bye when I can't edit the stop after drinking. I have to press the stop button.